Midwest is brought to you by Bud Light, with just the right taste that never fills you up. The difference is drinkability. By Steak and Shake, famous for steak burgers. By Auto Tire, for the lowest prices in town, we shop the competitors so you don't have to. And by Chevy, see your Mid-America Chevy dealers or shop and compare at stlchevy.com. The All-Star Arch just outside Busch Stadium, where you enter by the green seats. And a big crowd expected here tonight. Well over 40,000. A look at the Giants lineup. Rowan, Wynn, and Sandoval's having a great year, hitting .340. Then Molina, Shireholtz, Renteria, Ishikawa, Uribe, and Lincecum. The starting 9 for the Giants, and they'll face Brad Thompson, the sinker baller. And his numbers are presented by Marshall Wireless, a record of 2-3 overall.
Little disappointed his last time out after you felt very good about him. He had that clunker, but I'm sure he'll rebound, because usually when he starts, the Cardinals win, but that's going to be tough against Lincecum.
Last time out, an 11-0 loss at Citi Field in New York. Duncan, Ankiel, and Ludwig, the outfield tonight. The infield, DeRosa at third, Brendan Ryan at short, Skip Schumacher at second, Pujols at first, and the battery once again is Thompson and LaRue. As Mark DeRosa was saying on the pregame show with me, Al, in case folks missed it, he is most comfortable playing infield, specifically second base. But we know he's going to be an everyday player. We just don't know where he's going to play.
When he first came up with the Atlanta Braves, you kind of thought he was a good utility type player. But he has blossomed, particularly when he was with the Cubs the last 2 years. He was a big cog, and last year the Cubs MVP.
Our Domino's first pitch of the game, hit down the left field line. Rowan was ready for it, and he has great numbers against Brad Thompson. 5 for 6 with a double against the Cardinals righty.
And he's really been swinging the bat well since May 16th, the .350 plus average.
0-1 pitch by Thompson, and that's a strike. You see that LaRue is behind the plate. Yadier Molina, talking with Jose Oquendo just before the game, has still had a little soreness in his leg from that collision against Minnesota, so he'll sit out today. There's the breaking ball, and popped up. DeRosa calling for it. He's got it. Just a few moments ago, Tim Cheetah and his crew, home plate umpire Mark Carlson, Tim Cheetah, the crew chief, Bob Davidson, and Todd Titchener. Just a few moments ago, as they arrived from underneath the stadium with that grimacing look. Don't mess with me. Do not, under any circumstances, question my authority or my calls.
Oh, he's not that type of umpire. He's a real fair one.
I'm not saying he's that. I'm just saying, with that look, don't mess with me, is what he's saying.
He's a mean man from Minnesota.
0-1 the count here on Randy Wynn, the left fielder. He's a switch hitter. Up and in to Randy. When the Giants score first, they are 32-8 this year. One of the best records in baseball when scoring first. And San Francisco took 2 of 3 from the Cardinals last month at home. And Wynn hits this one down the right field line over to get it Ludwig. And it bounces in for a fair ball. And a fan reaches over and takes it away from Ludwig. It may have done the Cardinals a favor. His Wynn was scooting pretty good. See that guy right there, he's thinking, well, I got the ball. I'm pretty excited about that, but I think I just messed up. Well, are they going to get me out of here? What's the deal?
And I don't understand that. You have the low walls, and you have it where fans can get friendly and they get these bounces. I mean, how do you tell young kids or even a baseball fan not to go after balls? Now, Aaron will go out there and just tell him the etiquette of the game, but that's only natural for somebody to try and retrieve a souvenir.
So a double, and here is Sandoval, who has reached base in 23 straight games. He has a 9-game hitting streak on the line here tonight. He left yesterday's game in the 6th inning with a stomach ailment, and we should mention that Colby Rasmus will not play tonight because of a stomach ailment as well.
Tony told me he thought he could do whatever, but he had a procedure done at the hospital checking on his stomach.
And Aaron is busy. One of the ball boys here at the ballpark is Colby Rasmus. Visits with the training staff of the Cardinals. They'll check on that fan, but 3 or 4 rows deep on that rope off the bat of Sandoval. He's a switch hitter too. He can play catcher. He can play first base, as we saw in the previous series against the Cardinals, and he's at third base tonight. They say this guy can flat out hit. He's hitting .340 on the year, 11 home runs, and 38 RBIs.
He's a young guy. You know, you think he's a little bit older than he is, but you know, he's still in his early 20s, I believe, and he's hitting .380 since mid-May.
2-1 pitch. Sandoval takes it for a ball. 3 balls and a strike. This time last year, San Francisco was on their way to nowhere. The only bright spot was Tim Lincecum. They finished up 72 and 90, 4th place in the National League West. If the playoffs would start today, and I realize it's early, but you have to consider the wild card, this is the team that would represent the National League, the San Francisco Giants.
I think going into spring training, a lot of clubs thought they were definitely the weak link in the West. Not the case.
Was that a case there of pitching around in the first of Sandoval to get to Molina? You could see that with first base open.
I'd like to be a little more aggressive, and I think Brad Thompson you're supposed to be a sinker baller, you're supposed to get ground ball outs.
And Molina, who is their MVP the last couple of years, 10 home runs, 42 RBIs, and hitting .252.
Not quite the RBI machine as he was earlier, but still leads all National League catchers in RBIs.
This is one of the teams that many felt would have been in the running for Mark DeRosa as time moved forward, because they need help offensively too. They're challenged with the bat.
And that's affirmative, because I talked to their coaches and they looked over at DeRosa and they said, boy, we'd like to see him, and we were in the mix.
The Cardinals paid a pretty good price, possibly a future closer here in town, and Chris Perez, and a player to be named later.
Well, we wish the best for Chris, and I think he will develop. But I mean, right now, I think this is what this team needed.
And that's a base hit into right field. Ludwig up with it. Wynn will score, and just like that, it's 1-0 San Francisco. Randy Wynn flying around third base, and he scores the first run of the game. Our Toyota keys to the game when scoring first, as we talked about, 32-8 record. The San Francisco Giants, third best in the major leagues. When the opponent scores first, you see these two teams struggle. Cardinals 6-26. Hopefully they can change that tonight. Our Toyota keys to the game. Base hit RBI, the 43rd for Molina, and still first and third and only one out. We do know that Kyle Loge is getting healthier, and so these starts for Wellemeyer, which was Saturday, and tonight for Thompson, they grow with importance for each individual.
Well, they do, and you know, good week 10 days ago, we would have said that Thompson would have had the nod, but they both had clunkers in New York.
Thompson has it, goes to second for one, on the first. Remarkable double play. How about that? Somehow he came up with it and turns the double play. Unbelievable.
I'll agree with that one.
the first, but the double play started by Brad Thompson with runners at first and third. Brendan Ryan's bat on the grass, and Brendan Ryan will bat ninth in this lineup. The leadoff man is Schumacher, then DeRosa and Pujols, Ludwig, Duncan, Ankiel, LaRue, Thompson, and the aforementioned Brendan Ryan against Tim Lincecum, the Cy Young Award winner from a year ago. He's 3-0 in his career against the Cardinals. Our Marshall Wireless starter. He's coming off a complete game, and overall he's at 7-2.
7-2, good ERA. He's completed 2 of the last 3 starts. Both of those, by the way, were against Oakland. But this kid, you know, he still looks like a little baby, but when you're in the batter's box, you have utmost respect for him and his ability.
0-1 pitch to Skip Schumacher is taken a little bit upstairs. 1 ball, 1 strike. Schumacher, one of the Cardinals that has very good success against Lincecum. 5 for 8
with a home run.
The Cardinals need runs. They need offense. Broke his bat, hit it to short. The former Cardinal Renteria up with it. A look at the Giants defense tonight with Randy Wynn in left field. Aaron Rowan, a former Gold Glover, in center. Nate Shireholtz is in right. Sandoval, Renteria, Uribe Ishikawa, fine defensive first baseman. Lincecum and Benji Molina, the battery tonight for the San Francisco Giants. So the Cardinals, in their last 7 games, overall they're 2-5, and Al only averaging 2 runs a game. They're hoping that Mark DeRosa changes that, at least becomes a part of it.
Well, tough assignment as he comes right out of the chute, but at least probably has 24 hours to kind of slow down everything that was involved in getting here so quickly.
Asked him on the pregame show about hitting in front of Pujols, and he said, without question, it's different, and I will be pitched differently.
That's
in the dirt, 2-1.
An area he's a little more comfortable with. As he also remarked that the 4th spot, which he hit in yesterday, was not a spot that he's accustomed to. See, the bracelet there is a little unusual, but it's not on his pitching hand, so probably no reason to have it removed. If a hitter is looking at that, they're in real trouble.
3 balls and a strike.
And a very unorthodox windup.
And a ground ball hit to the left side. Sandoval with it, and quickly 2 outs. How about this matchup here? Pujols and Lincecum. And the matchups in this series, at least on paper, are very, very tough for the Cardinals and the pitching that they will see. Randy Johnson, Matt Cain, Barry Zito, but no surprise here. Albert Pujols with good numbers against all 3 of those. Against Johnson, 9 for 21. Hitting .500 against Cain, .556 against Zito, and he's 2 for 5 with a home run against Tim Lincecum. And there is Dave Righetti, pitching coach with the Giants.
I asked Dave Righetti, I said, who does Lincecum remind you of? And the guy that I was thinking of was what he said, Ron Guidry.
The reason being?
Well, they're very similar in frame. Yeah, both weigh about the same. You know, both highly competitive. You know, the Louisiana Lightning could really get it up there. But the amazing thing, that's a changeup. You know, Mike Krukow was telling me that Lincecum, they showed him the circle changeup. And the first day they showed it to him, he used it in a game and had 9 swing and misses.
Upstairs to Pujols, what gets overlooked, they say, is the fact that Lincecum is an unbelievable athlete. And that's what you're talking about there.
And that was another comparison to Guidry.
2-2 pitch. Albert, a swing and a miss. Lincecum, a strikeout. The Cardinals go in order in the bottom of the first. He looks smarter when Tim Lincecum's on the mound. computer at MLB.tv. Over 100 live out-of-market games per week. For complete details, visit STLCardinals.com, where baseball is always on. Very rough year for San Francisco a season ago. Omar Vizquel out early with a knee injury. Noah Lowry had an arm issue, and it went downhill from there. And they signed Edgar Renteria in the offseason, as he is coming off a poor season by his standards in Detroit. But this year, only 2 home runs, 31 RBIs, and hitting .253. In his career, he's been a lot better player in the National League. And
they've been moving him down in the order, but I think they're very happy with the signing. He's a winning ball player, great work ethic, and just has a presence in the clubhouse. 33 now is Edgar Renteria, and he grounds to his counterpart at short. Brendan Ryan makes the play. Let's see Brendan back out there after taking that cortisone shot in the wrist. I'll be interested in seeing how Brendan Ryan hits tonight, because great crew, Big Dog leading the way. Notice that Brendan Ryan at one point, when he was swinging the bat, he was kind of shaking his wrist, and it looked like he had hurt his hand. So we'll see him come up 9th in this Cardinals lineup. He was stretching in the clubhouse. I said, "How you feeling?" And it took him about a good 20 seconds to answer it, and then it was kind of a non-committal. So that gives you an indication that he's in some pain. And just, he also jammed the thumb on that hand and against the antenna in the last at bat. Travis Ishikawa, and that's a strike on the outside corner. 0-2. We should mention that Khalil Green, they talked about it on the pregame show, again has been put on the disabled list. He was 0 for his last 16, and it's with the social anxiety disorder that he is suffering from. So Green is on the DL, and the Cardinals have another new face ready to pitch tonight. There's a strikeout for Thompson, and that's Clayton Mortensen. And Mortensen is in the bullpen this evening for the Cardinals. Saturday afternoons made for baseball, and this week Fox brings you the national game of the week. David Wright and the Mets take on Chase Utley and the Phillies. Or the Tigers battle the Twins. Dodgers take on the Padres. Fox Saturday baseball this week on Fox. And check local listings for the game and start time in your area. To the right there is your newest Cardinal, the 14th rookie. And when Mortensen does make his Major League debut, it will be the 8th Major League debut this season. You don't usually associate that many debuts with a first place team. You are exactly right. Cardinals are 40-34, or rather 41-36. The Giants 40-34. And the Giants have won 10 of the past 15 against St. Louis. Popped up. DeRosa over. Leans in, but that's out of play in the seats and over the dugout. For whatever reason, Thompson has been better on the road than at home. He's 0-1 at home, and Dave Duncan has seen the ERA over 5 as opponents have hit .270 against Brad Thompson here at Busch Stadium. And Brad is the 8th different starting pitcher the Cardinals have used this year. We thought last year the Cardinals used a lot of rookies, and they've actually used more this year than they did a year ago, and they had 11 different starters. 2-2 pitch. Oh, you talk about getting in your kitchen. It tied him up. That exploded at the very end and in on the hands of Uribe. Uribe's been battling a sore hamstring, so he has made it 3 starts in a row. But look at that. Not only did it get on the hands, but then he fouled it off his front foot. Brendan Ryan, you can see right there, shading from the sun, so he's having difficulty picking it up, and it's popped up. So DeRosa says, don't worry about it. Get in the dugout, and I'll take care of it as he makes the catch. Ludwig, Duncan, and Keel coming up midway through 2.
Giant. Good to see him here at the ballpark tonight. Lives about halfway between Carbondale and St. Louis. Brian Ludwig, Chris Duncan, Rick Ankiel. The number 4 spot for the Cardinals in this lineup has been a sore spot, to say the least. Collectively this season, the cleanup hitters for the Cardinals, Al, they're hitting .217. And still, with that, Pujols is seeing pitches to hit with 28 home runs and 74 RBIs.
We can't understand it. Now, if you got Lincecum on the mound, you may see a reason why you can go ahead and challenge him, as he made him swing on off balance and strike him out in the first inning. But unbelievable.
3-1 the count on Ludwig. And this is the guy right now that really needs to get things going, along with Ankiel or Duncan. Get one of these guys on a hot streak. 3-1 pitch. Ludwig hits it out of play. 3-2.
Thing is, Dan, when you gave that .217 average, to be honest, it seems like it's half that.
I agree, because those guys come up in key spots, and we pay so much more attention to the middle of the lineup and who's protecting Pujols as opposed to the bottom. On the inside corner, and Ludwig strikes out. 2 in a row and 2 on the night for Tim Lincecum. All-star balloting ends this Thursday. Cardinals fans can make a late push to keep Pujols and Molina in the lead. Fans who vote at least 20 times online and choose Cardinals as their favorite team will be entered automatically to win the Vote Cardinals Sweepstakes grand prize. 2 tickets to every All-Star event at Busch Stadium. And vote today at stlcardinals.com.
And the in-stadium ballot has stopped, but you can vote online up until Thursday. So we need all the votes, not only for Pujols and Molina, but vote for all your Cardinal favorites. Why not?
Mariano Rivera, as you see, Lincecum has a very good chance to be there. But how about Mariano Rivera, Al? He got save number 500 last night. And we looked it up. Out of the 500 saves, 110 of those he's gone more than just 1 inning. To put it in perspective of the 1-inning guy as opposed to when you were saving games and you were the fireman of the year, how about Bruce Sutter? Bruce Sutter, out of his save total, 188 were 1+ for the Hall of Famer Bruce Sutter. Also, Rivera picked up an RBI last night, too. Bases loaded walk. He said he was more proud of that than number 500. What a great career he has had. And when you think about Rivera, it's not just the saves piling up, but what he's done on the game's biggest stage at Yankee Stadium and postseason play.
Yes, and you can't emphasize enough that how some people will prosper in that environment and others just wilt.
Here's Rick Ankiel.
You can see why Lincecum can be very tough for these guys with that changeup. And then, you know, he's got the overpowering fastball. He's got a cutter. He came to the big leagues with 2 pitches, the 2-seamer and the curveball, and then he's developed the cutter and the changeup.
Ankiel on the ground to second. Uribe is there. Special guest and Cardinal fan Kenny Wallace will join us when we come back. Ticket proceeds will be donated to the VA hospitals. For tickets, go to stlcardinals.com/veterans. Always a very special day here at the ballpark. That'll be on July 2nd. And we have the chance to visit with Kenny Wallace. Always good to see you. How are you?
I'm excited to be here. I'm used to watching you on TV from any NASCAR race and watching you on Fox Sports Midwest. Now I'm here.
And you and the Mad Hungarian are teaming up, huh?
We're excited. You know, I'm in town to help Bank of America kick off All-Star Weekend. Here to tell everybody, starting tomorrow, if you come by any Bank of America in the city of St. Louis or wherever, we are giving away 4 tickets if you sign up for St. Louis Cardinal Banking. 4 tickets for that great Fan Fest on July 9th at downtown St. Louis. So it's an exciting time in St. Louis.
How is NASCAR going? How are things going for you?
Everything's going good. You know, I'm no different than any professional team or athlete. You know, you always want to do better. Right now we're 14th in the points in the Nationwide Series. We just came from Loudon, New Hampshire, and didn't run as good as I wanted to. Finished 20th, but hey, you know, we're racing hard every week and give up some good races this year, but it's all good.
3-2 the count on the 9th place hitter here, Tim Lincecum, and then we'll see Aaron Rowan and Randy Wynn. If anybody can reach Pablo Sandoval, here's a 3-2 pitch by Thompson. And it's slicing down the left field line and out of play. I need to thank you publicly because a few years ago I was emceeing Albert Pujols' charity golf tournament, and we were doing the auction.
Right, I remember.
And you were, by the end of the night, you were in a very happy mood for whatever reason. And you were spending thousands of dollars that night. And one of the things that you got to do, and there's a base hit for the pitcher, Lincecum, was have a private batting lesson from Albert Pujols. Do you remember this?
I remember everything.
And have you done it yet? Have you had the lesson?
Yes.
What was that like?
About 2 or 3 years ago. First of all, I really support the Pujols Family Foundation. And I was quiet. I was in the back of the room, and everybody was bidding on batting with Albert Pujols. So I was wanting to help out the Pujols Family Foundation. And I gave a lot of money.
Yes, you did.
I gave a lot of money. You know, and I really wanted to help Didi Pujols and Todd at the Pujols Family Foundation. And Albert, you know, people say, who's one of your favorite Cardinal players? I say Albert Pujols, and they're like, why? And I said, I'll never forget the 2004 NLCS when we beat Houston. I went in the clubhouse, and there's Albert helping the janitor tape up plastic over the lockers.
Is that right?
And I couldn't believe it. I said, now that guy's humbled.
Now my question would be, what are you doing in the celebration?
Are you crazy? I jumped the fence. The guard.
Well, I know you're into race car driving, but these guys play baseball, and you're behind a wheel.
I was literally.
I'm just saying. A lot of fans would love to, you know, have the opportunity to maybe celebrate and get champagne poured on them, and you somehow snuck in there.
I have been in every clubhouse celebration that you could imagine. 04 NLCS, I'll never forget. Everybody started looking one way, and I'm like, what's everybody looking at? And here come Roger Clemens. He looked like 8 foot tall. Everybody got quiet because we whooped him that night. And then I went in the clubhouse, and I at that time I realized how bad champagne smells, but only if you're not on the winning. I mean, we won, but I'm like, okay, this is what it smells like. And then I got back to smell that again in 06 with all of you.
Okay, 1 out and a runner at first. And this is hit in the air down the left field line. Duncan over with room. Makes the catch. So you and the Mad Hungarian teaming up. And again, if folks have just joined us, tell us what you and Al are up to at Bank of America.
The legend, the Mad Hungarian, Al Raboski.
In his own mind.
I live, eat, and breathe St. Louis Cardinal baseball. And it's so amazing to see Al up here with you. I mean, the guy was...
It's amazing, all right.
Okay, are we on camera? Look, here was the Mad Hungarian. He'd go back to the mound. He'd hit that glove, and baby, he'd fire that thing in about 100-mile-an-hour strike. I'm like, come on. So, yeah, starting tomorrow at all Bank of America's here in St. Louis, if you come by and sign up for St. Louis Cardinal Banking, we're going to give you 4 tickets to the July 9th fan festivities to kick off the All-Star Weekend. You know, it's going to be wild down here, but it really starts July 10th. So July 9th, if you're a St. Louis Cardinal Bank of America banking member, you're going to get in there one day early and see everything before everybody else. So stop by Bank of America.
Good seeing you, Kenny.
Thanks for having me, and I'm happy I could brag on Al Roboski.
Next time you're here, we'll let Al do the interview. 1-0 Giants. Sports Midwest is brought to you by Kia Motors. To learn more, visit kia.com. By the Casino Queen, home of the loosest slots. And by Taco Bell. Gorgeous night here in St. Louis. Glad you're with us as the Cardinals are still searching for their first base hit against Tim Lincecum.
You okay, Dan?
I'm good. I'm glad you're back, though. I can tell you that.
Let me ask you something. Should I forget to take my happy pill so I can compete with him, or
he is fired up. He's one happy guy. LaRue grounds out to third. A good play by Sandoval. So that's the first out. The Cardinals have sent 7 up and 7 down for Lincecum. This guy is something else.
Oh, he's outstanding. He's fun to watch. He has that unorthodox motion, which is very deceptive to the hitters and is a big part of their success. We always talk about how you want to watch and see the release point. Well, you don't see his until he's released the ball and it's already left his hand. You see it halfway, and then it's too late to make a decision.
He just turned 25 14 days ago. As Thompson takes a strike, 1 ball, 1 strike. Last year, he led the league in strikeouts, batting average against, which was .221, and fewest hits per 9 innings. He averaged only giving up 7 per 9 innings.
And not only Lincecum, but Randy Johnson tomorrow, 302-game winner. Then you have Kane, who's 10-game winner, competing for the Cy Young. This team is starting to, when you start get these kids to come out on the mound, they just all of a sudden, elevates the entire team.
And people forget this is only his 3rd year and 2nd full year in the big leagues. His first year, he was 7-5 and gets another strikeout. And last year, 18-5 with 265 strikeouts and 227 innings. In People's All-Stars Among Us campaign, 3 finalists from each Major League Baseball team were nominated for their charitable efforts. Today we congratulate Julianne Nahar as the Cardinals winner. Julianne makes care packages for U.S. soldiers, and she'll be honored during the ceremonies before the All-Star Game July 14th, seen only on Fox.
Well, we had 3 great representatives in the St. Louis area, but I was pulling for Julianne and her endeavors.
So here is Thompson, or rather Brendan Ryan, after Thompson struck out. And Brendan Ryan dealing with that sore wrist and hits it hard to first, but they had him played perfectly. Ishikawa, very good glove man. And 9 up, 9 down for Tim Lincecum. 4th to purchase raffle tickets to win a game-used autographed Cardinals Road jersey from Jackie Robinson Day. And you could be the winner of the Pujols jersey and 2 party room tickets against the Dodgers in July. Here is Benji Molina. And the first pitch is strike. You come to the ballpark. And that is a handful.
It kind of looks like your family, but a little,
yes,
little older.
Does. Yes, it does. DeRosa up with it and makes the play over to Albert for the first out.
Tell us again, Dan, what are your ages?
When the twins were born, Al, which was almost 5 months ago, my oldest was 3.5 years old. I have a 2-year-old and I have twins. So if you add it up, that's 4 kids under the age of 3.5. And then when you come to the ballpark, you deal with the biggest kid of them all, Al. I've had great training getting ready.
I'm part of the family.
This is a true story, too. My kids, anytime that they hear Al on the radio or someone says Albert Pujols, or they hear a highlight or they see TV that has baseball on it, first thing they say to me, Dad, where's Mr. Al? Just very matter-of-factly. My 2-year-old said, how's Mr. Al doing the other day? She's fairly advanced in language. And we can hold a normal conversation, and caught myself saying, well, Al's doing fine. June and the kids are wonderful, and they're doing a little remodeling over there. And she just looking at me
like, what are you talking
very
about?
Intrigued about Mr. Al. That is true.
You told me that the other day.
It is. I'm dead serious. She is very concerned about Mr. Al.
As are many.
Shireholtz hit into a double play his first time up and hits it sharply past Schumacher and into right field for a base hit. We really didn't show that double play because it was an inning-ending double play, but that was one of the most remarkable plays we've seen this season from anybody on the field wearing that Cardinal uniform.
It really was. Thompson made an outstanding play. As you see Albert's reaction as the ball goes through.
Hot Shots Sports Bar and Grill Exmo Camp. Renteria grounded to short first time up. Thompson needs that here with 1 out. But if you missed the play, it was a double play back in the first, and Thompson from his knees threw a perfect strike to second base to turn the double play. This was with a runner at third base too.
And we think that it hit off his leg, caromed right into his glove, and it kind of went down. It hit so sharply and down around his ankles.
1 ball, 1 strike on Renteria. So here's the play.
Play right here, right back off his leg, into his glove, from his knees, throws there, a strike to Brendan Ryan, and they complete the double play, as you said, with the runner at third, but hit so sharply, he went the long way, and it paid off.
1-1 pitch to Edgar Renteria. Instead, another check on the runner at first. And Shireholtz, and you saw at second base tonight for the Cardinals, Skip Schumacher. Tony La Russa over the weekend comparing him to Mike Shannon when Mike had to make a move. And Schumacher has really played well at second.
You know, it's not uncommon for an outfielder to go to either first or third. Very uncommon for an infielder to go to the middle of the diamond, second or short. And in fact, the last time a Cardinal outfielder did that, it was Red Shades back in the 40s.
Schumacher has committed 5 errors this year. 4 have been at second base. He's had, coming into play tonight, 461 innings at second base and more than 250 chances.
And remember, the one was when no one covered on a steal.
Tough error to get.
Well,
I didn't understand it.
Well, it's always been a tough error, and maybe a legitimate case for the team error, because it's always charged to the catcher. He's the one that throws it. And Tony called up and suggested positively or forcefully that since Schumacher was supposed to be covering on that play and didn't, that the error should be taken away from Molina and given to Schumacher.
2-2 pitch. Up the middle and a base hit. Shireholtz will stay put at second base. And that's back-to-back hits. Always been a good player, Edgar Renteria.
He's one of our favorites. Just a class act. He just, knows how to play the game properly. Wore the Cardinal uniform very well. Really a favorite of Albert's and Tony La Russa's. And remember with Thompson, with a good sinker, you're going to get a lot of ground balls. Some of them will go through, but you always have that ability to get a ground ball double play, and he needs one now.
Here's Ishikawa, who struck out first time up. Ishikawa, they thought this guy would be their everyday first baseman. Cranks one into right center field. Back is Ankiel, and it's gone. 3-run homer for Ishikawa, and his 5th of the season. That makes it a 4-0 Giants lead. That might be all that Lincecum needs. 418 feet, the distance of that home run.
Usually you give Lincecum 3 runs and it's an automatic win. Now you see the ball, but it stays up. The sinker that's up and ends up around the thighs or the belts. That's going to be troublesome with a left-handed batter. It's into the sweet swing of their swing, and he earns it going out to left center.
Here's Uribe. Hits it in the air down the left field line. Duncan is over and out of room. Umpire hustling to make sure he can get a look.
Todd Titchener, that hustling umpire.
What really hurt the Giants last year, and we talked about the injuries that they had with Vizquel and Noah Lowry, but 1-run games. At times they were great, and outside of the Padres and Washington, who they beat up on, they were 20-5 against those teams. They were close to 30 games below 500 against the rest of the league.
Oh, Dan, you're talking about the run support that Lincecum has. He's got 4-0 lead. He's 27-2 with a 3 ERA when the Giants score 3 runs or more. And he's 27-2. The Giants are 30-16 in those contests.
1-2 the count on Uribe, who popped out to DeRosa at third base first time up. And grounds it foul. Talked a little bit about the pitching in this series, but the matchups are a lot of fun, and they're guys that have won Cy Young awards all over the place in this series. Randy Johnson, Chris Carpenter tomorrow night. That should be fun. Carpenter is 5-2. Johnson 7-5, and now a 300-game winner. Wednesday night, Adam Wainwright, Matt Cain. Cain is 9-2. And Thursday, Todd Wellemeyer against Barry Zito. Zito 4-7. Wellemeyer is 6-7. Hard hit to DeRosa. Makes a good play. Over to Albert Pujols. 2 away.
The Giants used a rookie yesterday, making his major league debut, Ryan Sadowski, and he pitched 6 scoreless innings in the Brewers' 7-0 win.
And here is Tim Lincecum. Lincecum single to left first time up. We're talking about the kind of athlete that he was and is. And by the way, that was the Giants with a nice win over the Brewers at a 7-0 win.
Yes.
With the Sadowski. But the day that he was drafted, Tim Lincecum was on the golf course, and they talk about how relaxed he is. Received a text message. He went 10th overall to the Giants. Said no big deal. Put his phone back down. He wasn't by his computer, wasn't with his family. He was playing golf. They say that's how relaxed he is. Apparently, before his first ever win in the big leagues, about 15 minutes before the first pitch, he was still not in uniform and eating a sandwich on the couch, their clubhouse. Just relaxed, taking things in.
Yeah, he was 10th pick overall in the 2006 draft. So, great collegiate career in Washington.
He's twice the Pac-10 Player of the Year, and at Washington, he hails from that Seattle area. 491 strikeouts during his college career.
Was it his freshman year? Was freshman of the year and pitcher of the year. Pac-10. Pretty good baseball.
Thompson races to the bag to make the play. Damage done by Ishikawa with a 3-run homer. 4-0 Giants. by the Casino Queen, home of the Loses Slots. And by Taco Bell. Get a $5 off admission coupon for the All-Star Game MLB Fan Fest, now at Taco Bell. Well, we mentioned he went 10th, and look at all the pitchers that were taken before Lincecum. Pochaver, Reynolds, Lincoln, Morrow, Miller, and Kershaw, and a Cy Young Award winner in Tim Lincecum. Most people stayed away because of his size, 5'11", 170 pounds. Looks like one of the Jonas brothers, except he throws about 98 miles an hour.
Now, they say in the Bay Area that, you know, athletes are no big deal, except for Lincecum. They say he's a rock star out there. He walks into a restaurant, he shuts it down. As you know, he is something special, and they love him out there.
His dad, Chris, was a semi-pro player and taught him how to throw the baseball. And Al, I'm sure, will break down his motion at different times tonight, but a lot of it is just geared up to coil and explode from his legs. And they say he never has arm issues. He doesn't ice his arm after games. He's one of the rare pitchers that does not do that. He obviously keeps himself in very good shape, but his leg drive is exceptional.
Well, I mean, he's an old-fashioned pitcher that is deceptive and uses his legs to maximum ability.
Like Tom Seaver was that guy.
You know, Major League scouts today are enamored with size, and you just look at guys and they look like they're so mechanical, methodical, robotic, and look like they're ready to break down. He's just an athlete, and just, you know, he throws in a way you would never teach, but for his sake, and his father's taught him, don't let anybody change you. You know, and he's never had any, nothing but success the way he has, and you're doing a kid a disservice by trying to change him.
It's one of the reasons he wound up in Washington. He told whoever got his kid could not mess with his motion.
Right. And because of his size and wiring body, and he's such a good athlete, it all works for him. And he can get on top of the ball. He's deceptive. He has exceptional stuff, and he's got a, just tremendous heart and competitive spirit.
Right field and out. And for people that are young kids out there that think they aren't big enough to compete, think about this. As a freshman in high school, this delivery was the same as it is right now. He was 4'11", 85 pounds as a freshman in high school. And even back then, they said he could throw, not quite this hard, obviously, but he was low to mid-80s at 85 pounds. Then his freshman year at Washington, 5'9", 135 pounds. That's his first year in college. You saw the leg drive, the Expo Cam presented by Hot Shot Sports Bar and Grill. He's perfect so far. Valenzuela no hits the Cardinals, a team that he eventually played for, the same night that Dave Stewart no hits the Blue Jays back on June 29th, 1990.
We were in Los Angeles doing that game, and Stewart's game was in Toronto, so that one finished before. And my biggest memory of that night was, yeah, he had a no-hitter, but he didn't have no-hit stuff.
Fernando Valenzuela. And who could forget Fernando Mania? He was the Rookie of the Year, won the Cy Young in the same year as he started 8-0 with a .50 ERA. It was similar to what we saw with Manny Ramirez to a point from a hitter's perspective, what Manny's done, to see what Fernando's done.
It was amazing.
The reaction of the Dodger fans.
81.
81, yep.
Yeah, and he came up in September of 80.
Correct.
And he was a reliever at that time.
Right.
I remember seeing him then, but then all of a sudden they put him in the rotation the next year, and it was incredible. And his look to the sky as he was in his motion, big leg kick.
Almost rolled his eyes back.
Right.
And then when you think about how he approached pitching, how about Dave Stewart, the scowl that he had?
Also, and many people, Dave Duncan will tell you that you know, he's the one that gets most of the credit for turning him into the big winner he was.
Well, he was, if memory serves correct, Dave Stewart was released in 1986 by the Phillies and then picked up by Oakland, and in '87 he was a 20-game winner.
Well, he bounced around for a while. It was never really.
He was with three different teams.
He was a journey. He was Texas, you know, Dodgers. He started with the Dodgers, but never was, you know, he was like the 10th man on a 10-man pitching staff back then. You know, Dan, they used to have 10 men in the National League and 9 in the American League. And on occasion, the American League team would drop down to 8.
There's Lincecum.
And Tony and Dave Duncan are fearful every time they don't have 13.
And the newest addition, Clayton Mortensen. Hit to short, Brendan Ryan with it. 2 outs. I want to remind folks, game 2 of this 4-game series with the Giants tomorrow, right here on Fox Sports Midwest. Coverage starts at 6:30 with Toyota Cardinals Live. Cardinals and Giants will be in high definition tomorrow on Fox Sports Midwest, and Randy Johnson will go against Chris Carpenter. Randy 7-5 and Carp is 5-2. Carp in his last start made one mistake. That was it. One bad pitch, and it cost him the game. He's getting the lowest run support of anybody in baseball. Here's a ground ball to Schumacher. Let's see if these bats can come alive. Bottom of the 5th rolls in. Ludwig, Duncan, and Keel. 4-0. AT&T, the nation's fastest 3G network. AT&T, your world delivered. Tim Lincecum with 4 strikeouts, no hits allowed. As Ludwig fouls it back, it'll be Ryan Ludwig, the cleanup man tonight. Chris Duncan and Rick Ankiel. 4-0 San Francisco. Scoring in this ball game, Benji Molina with an RBI base hit, 43rd this year as far as RBIs are concerned, and Ludwig hits it down the left field line, and it is a foul ball.
I was talking with Mike Krukow before the game, and I said, you know, I know Lincecum has great stuff, as you see the effort by Wynn out there in the outfield. Got a glove on it, but it was good. He knew that wall was coming, and he said he is the reinvention of Juan Marichal.
Really?
Yeah.
The reason being maybe the odd motion?
Odd motion, I think all kinds of things, and this is what we're talking about. Look at this leg kick. But the deception and how you hide the ball from the hitter.
That looks to be from an all-star game. That was Mickey Mantle. Ludwig into right field, and that's caught by Schierholtz. So Lincecum has been perfect so far. And he won the Cy Young last year, the first Giant to do that since Mike McCormick did it back in 1967. And what was unique about it was the win total. The first Cy Young award was handed out, Al, as you all know, 1956. Through 2003, only 5 times did a starting pitcher win the award without winning 20. And now it's happened in 4 of the past 5 years. Brandon Webb, you might remember a season ago, had 22 wins.
Well, back then you had the 4-man rotation. So their win totals were usually, you know, mid-20s. And the thing that you know, now you rarely have a 20-game winner. Back then you'd have almost every team, say like 8 teams in the National League, and they'd all have at least one 20-game winner.
Uribe makes an outstanding play at second base to take a hit away from Duncan.
And remember, he had been playing because of a sore hamstring.
And when we first saw the Giants, it was Emmanuel Burris who was at second base.
Right. Uribe was playing third base as Sandoval was over at first base. So a terrific play. And they said that he's really contributed because of his defense back then, and his bat came around a little bit. Now he's getting a lot of playing time.
And Keel, little floater, and this will drop. A broken bat base hit and first hit of the night. As good as this guy is, I think everybody in the ballpark was thinking in the back of their mind, it might be his night to throw a no-hitter or a perfect game. I mean, he's that good.
Well, and it's a pretty good pitch. A breaking ball jams him. I think it breaks Ankiel's bat, but he just muscles it out there. And we're saying about Fernando Valenzuela and his, you know, no-hitter on this date back in the 90s. You know, he didn't have no-hit stuff. Lincecum had much better stuff, but you have to be so lucky, not only good, but you have to have luck in order to throw one.
When I saw Pujols line to third, that play off the bat of Duncan at second base, you're thinking, well, that might be the luck that you need. Hit him right at him. Great play behind you.
And Lincecum or any pitcher would prefer to have one hit off the wall to lose your no-hitter that way than to have just a little bleeder go through the infield, or a quail, Texas leaguer, one of those little flares.
I thought in the graphic that we showed of all the pitchers that were taken before the Giants got to him, and he had been drafted, by the way, twice before but did not sign. Cleveland drafted him. The Cubs drafted him. The one that really sticks out, Seattle, because he pitched at Washington. You know, basically he could have pitched for his hometown, and now it comes back to haunt him as he's one of the best pitchers in baseball.
And they were on that list, weren't they?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. They had a chance to get him.
Yeah.
You ought to see his numbers in the minor leagues against any of the Seattle minor league teams. I mean, he is something extra for the Mariners. Little bloop, and this might be a base hit. No, he threw him out. Lincecum, an outstanding play, sliding on the grass.
Is he an athlete?
Oh, man. What a great play by Tim Lincecum. This is one of the best plays of the night. Sliding and taking a hit away from LaRue. Chris Carpenter, former Cy Young Award winner. We're on the air at 6:30 with the pregame show on Fox Sports Midwest. Carpenter 5-2, 1.78 ERA against Randy Johnson 7-5. Carpenter making his 11th start of the season tomorrow. Absolutely gorgeous night. Last time that Al and I were here, it was scorching hot Saturday afternoon.
And I don't know if you saw one of the minor league pitching coaches for the Giants was here.
Lee Smith?
Lee Smith.
I did see him.
So he looks in great shape.
And his hands are still big.
They're still big.
They haven't shrunk at all.
I thought his body had shrunk a bit.
I did too. He looks good.
He said thank you. He lost about 30 pounds and it looks like more like 130.
So easy going. Very nice man.
Yes, he is.
Chicago is leading Pittsburgh, by the way, in their game 3-1.
Big Lee will be in town, and I talked to Will Clark today, asked if he works for the Giants, also a special assistant to the general manager, and I asked him if he was in town. He said no, but he will be coming in for the All-Star signings.
Center field, and that's caught by Rick Ankiel. 4-0, the Giants lead it. RBI in the first by Molina, and a 3-run homer. Aflac trivia question with one out here in the top of the 6th. And the first pair of pitchers to throw no-hitters on the same day.
Well, we talked about in this day in history it happened, but
well, you have to go back to 1898. That's probably why you couldn't remember it.
Yeah, back then the game I think was pretty offensive too.
Here's Shireholtz, and he lines it over Brendan Ryan for a base hit. So a 1-out hit. Cubs, by the way, leading in their game 3-1. They have lost 8 of their past 9 road games and 16 of 21 overall. So they've been struggling just a bit. Well, 6 is a serious number. The Cardinals score 6. You get a 20-ounce coffee, found a frozen drink for just $1 the next day and on the run at Mobile. Win or lose, the Cardinals score 6. You score 25-cent drinks.
That's the final as the Cubs win 3-1 at Pittsburgh. And it's like the Brewers are having some fun at the Mets' expense. They have a 7-2 lead in the 7th.
Renteria takes a ball. You know, the Cubs beat Zach Duke, who is 5-0 at home this year with an ERA under 2 against the NL Central. There's no reason to think why Duke shouldn't be better than he has been. There's Clayton Mortensen trying to calm down.
See what Snell did in his first start?
Back down in the minor leagues?
Yeah, I think it was 14 strikeouts or 17 strikeouts, and it was 7 innings. But you see what Kyle Davies did against Memphis? You know, Cardinals roughed him up. They sent him to the minor leagues. Shutout against Memphis.
But doesn't that show you, though, Al? I mean, those two numbers, just the difference, major league, minor league. I mean, it is a huge gap. That people, I don't think, realize. You know, we hear about all these prospects. These guys just aren't ready to play at this level.
I used to think the biggest difference was between A-ball and Double-A. If a player could be successful at Double-A, it was just a matter of time before he could play at the major league level. Just every stage was going to get a little more consistent. Now it is definitely the biggest jump is between the big leagues and AAA.
2-2. Johnson, Carpenter, again a reminder, game 2 of this 4-game series tomorrow on FSN Midwest. Milwaukee, as you mentioned, 7-2 in the 7th, and that's with their former closer in New York, Braden Looper, on the mound as a starter now with Milwaukee. It's Fernando Nieve. Milwaukee 21-10 against the Central, but 19-25 outside the division.
Problem is we're going to be playing in the Central Division after this series.
2-2 pitch to Edgar. Runner goes. Brendan Ryan backhands. Trouble getting it out of the glove. It still made the play.
He's been something, hasn't he?
Very good defensively.
And Brendan, prior to the wrist, aggravation of late, he's been doing well offensively, but really had to reverse direction, had a little trouble getting out of the glove, but used all of his body to get a little bit behind the throw and just gets Edgar by a step and a half.
And Tony was even saying when Khalil Green was healthy and coming back, he said, I don't know how we can not play Brendan Ryan or Tyler Green at shortstop with the defense they've been giving us.
And I don't think there's any doubt, but that's why it looked much better at third base. He looked more comfortable there, had less range. It's a more reactionary position, so less time to think. Let the younger guys play shortstop, but then everything went well in Kansas City, but went to New York and he was hitless.
Hard hit to Albert. Backhands it. Thompson to the bag. He will lead it off for the Cardinals in the bottom of the 6th. Will he bat? We're about to find out. It's 4-zip. AT&T. Switch to the nation's fastest 3G network. AT&T, your world delivered. The nicest lady at the ballpark, probably the nicest person, Aggie Siriati. And she has been here for years. And it seems like she's always wearing that green outfit. That's been a favorite of hers It seems like every night we send that roving camera in there, we just happen to get that green outfit that she wears. But it really looks good on her. As Thurston is pinch hitting for Thompson, pops it up. Renteria calling for it, and he's got it. So Thompson goes 6 innings, 4 runs, 7 hits, 1 walk. He struck out 2. The big blow in the game, the Ishikawa 3-run homer.
And Clayton Mortensen will be making his major league debut, the 8th Cardinal to do it this season, 14th rookie to come up this year. And one more thought on Aggie. I'm going to send along really get well wishes and just hellos to Mickey Garagiola.
How's Mickey doing?
He's doing fine, but he just, you always got to, rattle the cages down there in the hill and send out a hello to Mickey, and then he gets all kinds of phone calls.
All the folks at St. Ambrose on the hill. One out in the 6th inning, and he has thrown 22 balls. That's it.
Of course, everybody on the hill knows that Mickey is more famous than his brother Joe.
Of course. 2-0 the count on Brendan Ryan. Brendan grounded out to first, and he is 0 for 1. 2 balls and a strike. The only base hit for the Cardinals, a broken bat hit by Rick Ankiel. That's it. How about the play of Lincecum to end the inning back in the 5th?
I told you he was an athlete, and he showed you.
There's the breaking ball, 2-2. Just how good of an athlete is he? Well, just don't tell him he can't do anything, because he had never played golf in high school, wanted to try out for the golf team, and to make the team, you play 9 holes and you have to break a 40. He shot a 39. 4th time he ever played. Practiced 3 times, went out with someone else's clubs and shot a 39. Saturday, July 18th, 15,000 fans received the Cardinals themed dog tag necklace courtesy of Jack in the Box. To purchase tickets, visit STLCardinals.com or 345-9000, number to call for tickets. The Giants, for years defined by offense and the home runs of Barry Bonds, and now they're defined by their fine pitching staff. And that's a strike on the outside corner. Schumacher is grounded out to short and also grounded to second. Wasting no time. The 0-1 is taken low. 1 ball, 1 strike. San Francisco has out hit the Cardinals 7-1, and they lead it 4-0. He is just
I better make this quick, because the old-fashioned rule was you would never trade an everyday player for a pitcher. Pitcher can only win a game once every 5 days, where the position player can win your game every day.
You're gonna have to pick it up when we come back. Hold on, that's a tease, Al. That's a tease. You're gonna leave me hanging. I've got to come back. The pitching against Tony La Russa's club of Tim Lincecum. Mark DeRosa, second game wearing that Cardinal uniform, and he's at third base. That was Molina and his RBI. Ishikawa with a 3-run homer, and that's the scoring tonight. Lincecum just 1 hit allowed. He has struck out 6. As Pujols is 0 for 2. The Infinity game recap. Glad you're with us. It's our Chevy call to the bullpen, and here is 6'4", 180-pound right-hander Clayton Mortensen. Went to Gonzaga, so another guy from the West Coast, and he was selected in the supplemental round of the June 2007 draft, 36th overall, and he was compensation for the Brewers signing of free agent Jeff Suppan.
All right, I was asked by the truck a sacrilegious question. And
Go ahead.
So
Do I want to know what it is?
Oh, no, it's fine. My answer was no. Question: would you trade Albert Pujols for Lincecum?
No. That's my answer.
In agreement.
But you were saying though before, explain the mindset.
Well, I think before, years ago, you would never trade a position player for a pitcher. Under that thinking that Albert could win a game for you every day, or Lincecum can only win one once a week, once every 5 days, the game he starts. But today, pitching has become such a priority. You will see those, questions, and some clubs have to make that tough decision and do trade good position players for a pitcher now.
Pitch that was up and pulled foul. What was interesting, before his Cy Young season, the management team of the Giants was asked about Kane and Lincecum because they needed somebody in the post-Bonds era to hit, and they didn't have any hitters, as we saw last year. And the name that was always brought up at that time, Tim Lincecum, and then Matt Cain, and he said absolutely not. That pitch was up too and hit out to left center field. So welcome to the big leagues, Clayton Mortensen. Leadoff double by Uribe.
He was a starter down at Memphis, Mortensen. Had plenty of time to warm up, but that's always a little different. As kind of middle half in. Made 14 starts from Memphis, 7-4, ERA at 4.25, 85 innings, team high 64 strikeouts with 31 walks.
Out of Idaho. Lincecum with a base hit tonight. Also grounded back to Brad Thompson at the time, and that's pushed foul for strike 1.
Threw a pitch there with his shortstop standing at the second base bag.
Talked about it before. Lincecum in his brief major league career has won all 3 starts against the Cardinals in a 2.37 ERA. Last year, 13 innings against St. Louis and only gave up 2 earned runs. As good as advertised here tonight. 0-1 pitch, Mortensen. LaRue thought about going to third. He would have had him.
Oh, man.
He would have had him.
I think he forgot which uniform was his. As Brendan Ryan was standing at third base, and Uribe had stopped. Watch this. You see Brendan Ryan ahead of the runner. So it pounces on the ball, and for whatever reason, LaRue, you've got to get it out, and there was going to be a tag play, but I don't think it was. If he throws to third base, he has a sure out. So it's a good sacrifice.
Rowan. And Rowan tonight is 0 for 3 and now on base for the first time as he's hit by the pitch.
That ball just ran in on him, got him right around the knee.
Ice Age, Dawn of the Dinosaurs is hatched in theaters July 1st, the coolest comedy of the summer. We know Aaron Rowan is as tough as they come, though.
Yeah, but that hurts. And that ball just really took off and ran and just caught him on the knees, setting up the double play.
Now, last year, he like you're thinking, he played with a cracked rib. And 2 years ago, he was with the Phillies. He crashed into the wall, Citizens Bank Park, required 7 hours of surgery to repair his nose. with the unbelievable play that he made out in center field. He had blood gushing down his face, and he said when he was with the White Sox and part of their World Series team, he was kind of the glue of that team back in 2005. Here's Randy Wynn, who has doubled, flied to left, and also grounded out to short. 4-0 San Francisco. A lot of pitches up here from Mortensen.
That's the first thing that Dave Duncan will tell him is you better get the ball down in this league.
I'm sure the heart rate is up right now too.
Yeah, and that's why sometimes you just, no matter good or bad, you throw away that first outing because heart palpitations and just, you know, you just expect him not to be under control.
Can they get the double play? Here's an 0-1 pitch. Situation like this the other day. The ground ball that was hit to Schumacher, they were playing in, and that's what caused the injury to Molina. Kadire banged into Yadier Molina, and it's because of that collision at home plate that we don't see him here tonight, but outstanding play on both ends by Schumacher and Yadier Molina. 0-2 the count on Randy Wynn. The Giants 15-10 this month. They're assured of finishing with their best record in any month since September of 2004. And they're only 5 games above 500 this month.
It's kind of a drought.
It is a big time drought.
But with this good young pitching and still learning.
Got a chance to win a lot of games.
Right, and you would think that they're going, if they were wanting to be involved in the DeRosa sweepstakes, they're going to try and continue to find some offensive help.
That last pitch looked pretty good.
Yeah, just in on the hands after a couple away.
2-2 the count. Gap into right center field. Three and 2. Nobody up and throwing for the Cardinals in their pen. Were you a little surprised that Tony La Russa went with Mortensen here and didn't allow Thompson to?
No, I think because of the matchup, that 4 runs is like 15. Okay, 16.
Maybe 20. Big things are going.
Well, they had a shutout yesterday against Milwaukee, 7-0.
3-2 pitch. Ground ball. Schumacher has it, goes to second and throws it away. Past Brendan Ryan. A run will score to make it 5-0. And Rowan winds up at third base. Real tough chance there for Brendan Ryan. So an error on Schumacher. That's his 5th error at second base this year and 6th overall. So it's a fielder's choice RBI.
Just fires it, and Brendan, you know, is expecting something a little softer. You got to make sure you get the first out. Of course, he's trying to help out and get a double play, but throws it wide as if anything. You know, you expect it on the glove side, and it was across his body.
So 5-0. And it brings in Sandoval, who walked back in the first, grounded back to Thompson in the third, and is grounded out to second. 7th inning, nobody up and throwing, 1 out, runners at the corners.
Little pinch runner now for Rowan, as Torres will take over and start running. That's Andres Torres.
On their bench, they have Fred Lewis, Eli Whiteside, their backup catcher, Matt Downs, and Torres. Sandoval, a switch hitter. Pitch from Clayton Mortensen. Broken bat. Hit down the right field line. Over to get it. Ryan Ludwig. Run scores from third to make it 6-0. Out number 2.
Bat flew into the stands and hit someone in the green seats. And third, I want to say the second row, right in the head. It's like,
And that's with the netting that's up there,
yeah,
too.
the netting, but
so Mortensen gets the second out. Torres scores the 6th run of the night. And it brings in Benji Molina. 2 outs and a runner at first base. Hopefully Yachty would be able to play tomorrow.
it's a thigh bruise. And, you know, when you're make a living squatting, that's a tough place to have a contusion or bruise.
Well, the dream is almost a reality for Cardinal fans to see a couple of starters. Albert Pujols and Yadier Molina, All-Star game. And that's a base hit in left center. Randy Wynn on his way to third base. First and third with 2 outs. And a rough debut here for Mortensen. This copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of the St. Louis Cardinals and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the St. Louis Cardinals. Here's Shireholtz.
Pre-game show, Dave Duncan was asked about Mortensen and gave an answer that just like, well, he's got a lot to learn and he's still working on it. He's got a good arm, but we'll see what happens at this level. It was not a ringing endorsement that this is a finished product.
Last year he began his first pro spring training in Major League Camp. The first Cardinals pitcher to leap from the draft to the big league camp since Braden Looper did that back in '97. Fourth pitcher to do so since 1992. You also had Alan Watson and Brian Barber. Last year at Memphis, 5-6 ERA over 5.5. Here's a 2-0 pitch with 2 runners on. 3 balls, no strikes. Inning started with a double by Uribe. Lincecum a sacrifice. Rowan was hit by a pitch. With the infield in, potential double play. Very tough to turn, but Schumacher a low throw to the shortstop Brendan Ryan. E4 fielder's choice RBI. Sandoval a sac fly RBI. Molina base hit. Shireholtz now the walk. And the 8th man to come to the plate is Edgar Renteria. We're starting to stretch now in the Cardinal bullpen. No activity obviously for San Francisco, and out to visit Dave Duncan.
Dave trying to come out here, and he's thrown 22 pitches, 11 strikes, 11 balls. And he's finding out that at this level they don't chase some of those pitches that are out of the strike zone.
So here's Renteria, the former Cardinal shortstop. Grounded to short, singled and scored. That was back in the 4th, and also grounded to short in the 6th. Fans sticking around. They want to see Pujols one more time against Lincecum, and he's due up second for the Cardinals in the 7th.
I think our fans are such good baseball fans, they want to stick around and see Lincecum.
Good point. 1 hitter and a shutout. Giants about hit the Cardinals 9-1, taken low. And that round of applause that you may hear coming through your TV set is for the fan that was struck on the head by the broken bat.
She's got a smile on her face.
Two 2-0 with 2 outs and the bases loaded. I'm sure the weight of the world right now is on Mortensen's shoulders.
Well, you dream about getting this opportunity, and trust me, you don't in that dream it doesn't have this same outcome.
Been thinking about it all your life, and now they played it too, and the bases loaded. Renteria down the left field line, fair ball. This may clear him. At least 2 runs will score. Here comes another. Bases clearing double by Edgar Renteria. 9-0 San Francisco. Renteria now with 34 RBIs.
And misses location on the inner half. They just turn on that ball, hits it down in the corner. And by the time Duncan retrieves it, all 3 runs score. 9 runs. Remember last time when Thompson started, it was 11-0 shutout against the Mets. And here the Cardinals are down 9-0.
Ishikawa, the 9th man to come to the plate. 9-0 Giants. 2 outs, runner at second base. And nobody throwing right now in the Cardinal bullpen. So Mortensen is out there to finish this inning up. 5 runs here in the 7th. Ishikawa back in the 4th. In many ways, this was the final blow when you have Tim Lincecum on the mound. It was a 3-run homer, and this made it 4-0. Party's prime cut of the game.
Sinker that just elevated a little bit too high for a left-handed batter, and he drove it out over the Bank of America sign in right center.
2-0 is popped up. DeRosa in foul territory, puts it away. San Francisco, 1 in the 1st, 3 in the 4th, and 5 here in the 7th. Time to stretch. Nine to nothing. Lincecum and the Giants rolling here in St. Louis. DeRosa, Pujols, and Ludwig. First pitch taken for a ball outside.
His 64th pitch.
And only 24 balls tonight.
It shows you how efficient he has been.
DeRosa pulls it to third. Sandoval across the diamond. Ishikawa there. And there's one away. Joining the fun of Major League Baseball's All-Star Summer. Bring your family to Major League Baseball All-Star Fan Fest July 10th through the 14th at America's Center. For tickets, go to allstargame.com or by calling 888-FANFEST. The Giants, the lowest ERA since the beginning of May in the National League. Third best overall at 1.48. When you look at the first 5 innings of a game, which is so important because you set the tone with that.
That's right. And set the tone with that good ERA. You let your team get out ahead, and they're very good when they score first.
Want to know the count on Pujols. He's 0 for 2. 1 ball, 1 strike against right-handed pitching. Albert Pujols this year hitting .344. With 19 of his 28 home runs against righties, 60 of his 74 RBIs. 1-2.
then you look at the big bats, they struggle against left-handed pitching, so he probably tries to do too much or pitched around.
Would you compare Lincecum, Al, at all to Roy Oswalt? You know, smaller guys that throw hard like this?
And the success that Oswald had early in his career. Very good choice.
Albert out to left. And this ball is off the wall. It scoots away from Randy Wynn. Pujols is digging for two. And in there safely as he nearly knocks over Uribe.
We were just thinking that with Albert up, maybe the outfielder's playing a little bit shorter. And you think if Randy Wynn's playing a little deeper, he may get back on this hanging breaking ball. He might get back to where he could jump at the wall and catch it as he's playing the carom, but was so close the carom got by him.
Speaking of Oswalt, 9-2 overall against the Padres this year, and he'll get San Diego later tonight. But he has struggled on the road with an ERA close to 5 and 8 road starts and a record of 1-2. And look now, Houston's only 4 games out.
Yeah, and overall, you know,
Houston against San Diego later. And how about the Cy Young winners in first full seasons since 1981? Lincecum last year at the age of 24. We saw Saberhagen. He was terrific in 85. Was terrific against the Cardinals. Fernando, we talked about him in 81. And we forget about the great Dwight Gooden at the age of 20. Just how good could he have been without what happened with substance abuse? Center field. And the catch is made.
Torres doesn't know it's 2 outs. Torres went in for Rowan, you know, pinch run, and then he stayed in the game and forgot that we played 3 outs here at the big league level.
Mention how San Francisco's been playing well. So have the Astros, 17-11, which is second best in the National League, tied with Milwaukee.
How about the Rockies?
That might be the team to watch out for the wild card. Dan O'Dowd has not been shy about making deals if he needs to. And they need some help in their bullpen. But as we saw with them in St. Louis in that 4-game sweep, when everything's clicking, they're tough to beat. Fired their manager, and Jim Tracy has done a very good job. It's hard to believe sometimes a change like that makes that much of a difference, but maybe it has with Colorado.
Sometimes you get stale under one guy. And I know Jim Tracy was hired by Clint Hurdle, and first thing he said was, gentlemen, you just got a good baseball man fired. And that's the one thing you hope the players kind of look in the mirror. Can't replace the entire team, so the manager is the guy that takes the fall.
2 balls and a strike on Duncan. Struck out swinging back in the second, also grounded out to second.
Pretty good pitch he looked at right there. The cutter in on him.
The 2-1. Hit out of play, 2-2. So interleague play is done. There is one makeup game, I believe. But the American League won the season series yet again. 6th straight time they've done that. The Angels 14-5, and they play really that National League style of baseball. And Albert Pujols 9 home runs in interleague play.
Albert's had 12 home runs in the month of June.
Strikeout number 7 for Lincecum. All Giants tonight, 9-0 after 7. They've out-hit the Cardinals 10-2. Second inning of work for Clayton Mortensen. And Al, this is a situation where you have a young man making his major league debut. You hope he settles in for his second inning of work, and he should settle in for his third inning too.
Absolutely. When you're down 9-0, and the way you've overused your bullpen over the weekend, it's his job to go out, and he can be a hero if he gets through this game. You know, it's not ideal for a guy making his major league debut, but this is what his assignment is. He's trained as a starter, so he should finish this game.
Gave up 3 base hits back in the 7th inning and 5 runs.
Scheduled to be the third hitter, but I mean.
And that's fouled back. Nobody getting loose in the Cardinal bullpen. The starter, Brad Thompson, tonight, 6 innings, 4 runs, 7 hits, 1 walk, 2 strikeouts, and he gave up a home run back in the 4th to Travis Ishikawa, a 3-run homer. Out to deep left field. Big Mac land, you bet. Into Big Mac land. Juan Uribe is 2 for 2 against young Clayton Mortensen. And a home run into Big Mac land.
Second home run of the year. Since he's been getting more playing time, they have come alive a little bit. There's that pitch in the inner part of the plate. You don't get in far enough, it's a quick home run out there.
And like you said, you would hope that he'd be able to finish this game. And now they're going to come over and congratulate Uribe. Lincecum on a hop to Albert Pujols. Just to think inside a manager's mind, you know, if you're Tony La Russa, you're thinking, okay, here's his major league debut. I don't want to leave him out there to get completely buried. You know, you're going to give up your hits and your home runs, but you want to make sure that there's something, anything positive that can come out of this, and don't let him get too beat up.
Well, the positive come out of it is if he gets 3 innings for his ball club. And you know, he's got an ugly ERA right now, so if he can get some more outs, you can put that in half.
There's Torres, who came in for Rowan after Rowan was hit by a pitch in the 7th. And Torres came in to pinch run. That's a foul ball, so his first plate appearance, and he also took over in center field. Game number 78 here tonight for the Cardinals.
I mean, it doesn't look good if he's the third hitter next inning and you send him back out there. But that's, you know, I mean, why burn another reliever when everybody's worked at least over the weekend?
And a strikeout of Torres. So 2 away, and the first major league strikeout for Clayton Mortensen. And Randy Wynn will be the hitter. He came up and grounded to Schumacher with the infield in. Skip committed a throwing error. It was a fielder's choice RBI on the play.
This is his 5th day of rest, so there's no excuse there for Mortensen.
And not to make excuses, but let's just say the Cardinals turned that double play, which would have been very tough to do. Inning looks a whole lot better, that 7th for Mortensen.
Yeah, well, I think it's of those 5 runs, 1 of them was earned. So, I mean, it's really not as bad an ERA as what you might think.
1 ball, 1 strike on Randy Wynn, who's also doubled tonight. Doubled his first plate appearance against Brad Thompson. 2 balls, 1 strike, 2 outs, and a 10-0 San Francisco lead. Foul ball. Distance of the Uribe home run, 421 feet into Big Mac land.
And you wouldn't think Uribe would be capable of hitting one up at Big Mac land, but
the Giants fan got it.
Yep, Giant fans up there, they got the souvenir and pretty happy about it.
Popped up. And Brendan Ryan has it for the third and final out. Rick Ankiel leads it off when we come back. Really good. Yeah, they'll talk about that. He has been good. Meet Mark DeRosa and Tony's thoughts following this one, all coming up on the postgame show presented by U.S. Cellular. Here's Rick Ankiel, who broke up the no-hitter. Ankiel, the broken bat base hit in the 5th inning against Tim Lincecum, who has been dominating here tonight.
You know, my feelings on acquiring DeRosa. What are yours, Dan?
Well, I think it's, you know, and we talked about it, I think if you're looking for versatility, which the Cardinals get out of DeRosa, there is no better manager to play for and no better fit for DeRosa than possibly Tony La Russa. He will play all over the place. As Rick Ankiel rounds out. Tony La Russa, speaking of the Cardinal manager, trying to pump up his rookie Clayton Mortensen. Hey, go out there. You got one more inning. Keep going.
That's right.
3 more.
Your ERA is at 9. You can lower it by throwing up a 0.
I'll say this too. If Troy Gloss doesn't come back, it may not be enough. You may have to get yourself another bat somehow.
I mentioned that earlier or last week, saying is one bat enough? And, you know, DeRosa hasn't gotten a hit yet wearing the Cardinal uniform, but I'm not worried about that. That's going to happen, and he's going to be a big contributor.
1 ball, 1 strike.
It's amazing the Cardinals are where they are when you think about what we expected or thought we were going to get out of Cleo Green. We thought we were going to have Troy Gloss, you know, maybe in the month of April, definitely in May. Didn't think he'd miss the whole. We thought Ludwig, Duncan, and Ankiel would be much better than they have been. Kobe, you have to say, is been where you thought, or really you should say he's been a pleasant surprise.
1-2 pitch. 2-2.
Thought Wellemeyer would be fine.
You know, we always hear about salaries in sports and in the game of baseball in particular. Tim Lincecum is making $650,000. And somebody asked him in spring training this year, you know, how do you feel about that? You just won the Cy Young. You're making $650,000. I mean, look at Johan Santana. Look at all these guys that he's right up there with. And his answer to that was, I want to prove I'm worth that money. They say he's as grounded as they come, too.
Well, believe it or not, I mean, the Giants could be stingy and he could be playing for the minimum.
Right.
And he will make his money in the future. But he signed a 3-year contract, which they didn't have to do being such a young player.
And Mortensen lines it into the seats Lincecum has not walked a man, and he has struck out 8 tonight. Oh, 2 pitch. What Tony La Russa talked about a week ago was the starter in the All-Star game, and he was asked about it, and he said, well, let me extend that. He said, think about any pitcher in the All-Star game. If they pitch on Sunday for their respective team, they shouldn't pitch on Tuesday.
Well, with the exception of relievers.
Right. And I'm talking about starters.
Yeah, but any starter, that's a valid point. You know, honor them as all-stars, but replace them because you're really not doing any service to the team. If this game counts, now he can't count 3.
We head to the 9th. It's 10-0. By Bank of America. Cardinals banking only at Bank of America. And by Nike. It's about you. And the 9th inning rolls in. Mark DeRosa moves from third base to first base. Tyler Green takes over at third. DeRosa came ready for the interview on our pregame show, and he was carrying 3 different gloves. You just don't know where he's going to play.
That gives you an indication of how Tony feels. It's more important to have Albert get a 1 inning off than being, what, the 4th hitter?
4th hitter.
Maybe his 2nd or 3rd time in the 9th inning he'd come up in a game-winning situation.
So here's Sandoval. Sacrifice fly back in the 7th. He's also walked tonight. That pitch is popped up and foul behind home plate. 0-2. Takes a pretty good rip, doesn't he? Pablo Sandoval, 22-year-old from Venezuela, signed as a non-drafted free agent back in '03, and originally signed as a catcher for the Giants. Speaking of former catchers for both these franchises, we'll take a look at some players, significant players that have worn both these uniforms recently and in the past.
Guys come to mind: Cepeda, Ray Sadecki.
And I was thinking recently with Mike Matheny and catchers, yeah. Even Steve Klein, Matt Morris. Klein apparently is managing, my understanding, somewhere. I'm not sure where, but he is managing. Sandoval strikes out. Mortensen gets his 2nd of the night. And here's Benji Molina. Molina tonight got things started with an RBI base hit. in the first inning. He's grounded out to third, fly to center, and also singled and scored in a 5-run seventh. Mortensen has given up 6 runs tonight. And it looks like he's starting to get the ball down a little bit and settle in.
Only 2 of those 6 are earned.
Good pitch on the outside corner. 0-2. Cubs defeat Pittsburgh 3-1 tonight. Milwaukee trying to hold on against the Mets. They lead it top of the 9th 10-6. 0-2 pitch. Reaches for it and a base hit. An 0-2 mistake. Molina stops at first base.
I think you're going to see, Dan, that Mortensen is finding out that when you make a pretty good pitch at this level, you still got a chance to give up a base hit.
Brings in Shireholtz, and that wasn't a bad pitch at all, was it?
No, as a slider down and away, he just kind of reached out and got enough of it to line it into center. 3 hits for Molina tonight.
And Shireholtz grounded into a double play to end the first. Singled and scored in the 4th. Singled in the 6th, then walked and scored in the 7th. Line drive on a hop and a double play ball. Ryan to first. Schumacher, Ryan DeRosa. Final hope for the Cardinals as they trail by 10 against Tim Lincecum. And the Cardinals will have Brendan Ryan, Schumacher, and DeRosa for St. Louis.
Lincecum is looking for his 3rd complete game in his last 4 outings.
They don't even talk about pitch counts with him. He was brought back in a rain-delayed game a couple of years ago, and there's a lot of heat brought on coaching staff, and Lincecum was the first to speak up and said, that doesn't bother me. You know, if there's a rain delay and I stop for a little bit, or if I go deep into a game, my arm doesn't hurt. I've never had arm problems, never had issues. So people need to stop asking that question, why was I brought back?
This is only his 90th pitch.
Ground ball left side. Sandoval makes the play. This has pretty much been all night. Very efficient outside the strikeouts. Pitch by pitch brought to you by Chevrolet.
Fastball up out of the zone. And he comes back and change up down there. Gets him roll over and a little ground ball to third base. So 8 strikeouts and very few balls hit hard or to the outfield.
Here's Schumacher. Mentioned they had good success, 5 for 8 coming into this game against Lincecum, and he is grounded out to short, grounded to second, and struck out. That first pitch right on the black of the outside corner. Here we are in the 9th. That pitch is as well. Ground ball to short, quickly 2 outs. This guy is something else. All right, player of the game, Al. What do you think? Number 55?
I guess being a pitcher, I'll go with a pitcher.
Tim Lincecum. 8 2/3, 2 hits, no runs, no walks, and he has struck out 8. Have we seen anybody better this year? Are we going to see anybody better this year?
I doubt it.
I agree.
And hopefully we don't see anybody better in the next couple days.
I would have liked to, from a baseball perspective, seen Greinke. I would have liked to have seen him throw.
Me too.
You know, we missed him a couple of times. As DeRosa is looking for his first Cardinal hit, he won't get it tonight. That's it. Lincecum, a 2-hit shutout as he is masterful against the Cardinals. 10-0 our final as he strikes out 8, 3 complete games in his last 4 starts. 5th career for Tim Lincecum. Cardinals go quietly